Okay, today I am taking you somewhere special. I am going to the library to pick out some books. Yeah, so I'm super excited to share with you the books that I'm hopefully gonna find. Okay, I'm walking up now to the library, and it's really sunny today, which is super nice. We have a lot of great libraries in the county where I live, so this is just one of them. I'm hoping they have some knitting books. There are so many picture books, but I got a few knitting related ones, and I'm going to read them and then I will let you know. Okay, leaving the library with my books, and I'm gonna go home and read them. Probably, actually, I'm going to put them in my car and then forget about them for like 5 days and then remember them and read them and then record the video. But I am hoping that my son will be interested in them and then we can read them together, because I think that would be fun. And whenever he sees like knitting in a book or in like on a TV show, he's like, oh, Mommy, they knit too. And so yeah, I think he'll like these. I think that'll be fun. One, to read them for you guys, but also to see if my son likes them. So right now I am reading through the books that we picked up at the library. I'm here with Ollie. You want to say hi? Hi. And we are going to read them, and I'll take some notes and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, today you watched me go to the library, and now I have some books to share with you. So I read all of the books and I took some notes on just the general story. So I'll give you a summary, and then I will also share like knitting content, like what I thought as a knitter while I was reading this book about knitting for kids. And then lastly, I'll share what my son thought. So we read them all together. And yeah, I'll let you know what he thought about them. So I just picked up 5 picture books to share with you, and if you guys like this, let me know and I will get some more and share some more content like this. I love picture books. I love reading books to kids, and so yeah, I'm super excited about this. If it's not for you, that's okay, just watch my next video. But if it is for you, or if you want to purchase some of these books, I have a link in the description for an affiliate link to Amazon, and it'll have all the lists of these books that I talk about. But I got most of them from the library. One of them we already owned, so definitely check your library first and then use my link if you need to purchase one or send one to a loved one who's far away. Okay, the first book that I read was Knit Together by Angela Dominguez. This is a story about a mom and a daughter, and it's told from the daughter's perspective. The daughter loves to draw and the mom loves to knit. So in order to spend more time together, the daughter wants to learn to knit, but her mom tries to teach her and it's a lot harder than she thought. So they decide to collaborate and make one craft together. I won't spoil the rest of it for you, but it's very sweet, and they end up making something special that they can both work on together. It's heartwarming, it's simple, it includes lessons about like not giving up, being resilient, and also collaborative, working together, things like that. The knitting content was lovely. It's sort of whimsical, the illustrations are more simple, so yes, but I think it looks like knitting. And more knitting content. The book describes knitting as being difficult, which I know knitters like to hear, because they might feel a little justified, but also that you can learn it, or you can work together with someone who's a knitter. So that was good as well. And then lastly, what my son thought. We were reading, and the part where the little girl says she wanted to learn to knit, he looked over at me and he said, I want to knit with you, Mommy. and that was precious. So if you're thinking about wanting to get your kids into your own hobby or fibercraft, then this is a great book because it talks about, one, them having their own thing that they like to do and you having your own thing you like to do, but also bringing those together and trying to learn what the other one likes. So loved that. The second book is called A Hat for Mrs. Goldman, a story about knitting and love, written by Michelle Edwards and G. Brian Karras. Interesting fact, the illustrator actually learned to knit in preparation for illustrating this book, which I find very cool, very dedicated to the craft, both of illustrating and of knitting. So I will say I think this one has the best knitting related illustrations in terms of portraying knitting accurately in the story. It's a story about a little girl and her neighbor, Mrs. Goldman. This is the little girl, her name is Sophia. So Mrs. Goldman makes hats for all of their neighbors, and Sophia helps by making pom-poms. Mrs. Goldman tries to teach Sophia to knit, but she finds it a little frustrating, and so she decides she just wants to be the pom-pom maker. Then, after going on a walk together, Sophia realizes that Mrs. Goldman doesn't have her own hat. She just gives all her hats away to their friends and neighbors, and so she decides to make Mrs. Goldman a hat. And what follows is a very sweet story about not giving up, trying again, and also being happy with your best and what it turns out to be. So it's very sweet. And knitting content, I would say A+. This is wonderful. Something that I think knitters will especially like is this page where it shows Sophia knitting constantly. She knits all the time, lunch, dinner, in bed, while she's, reading, all those things. Very relatable for knitters out there. So bonus knitting content, it does include a pattern at the end for the hat that Sophia makes for Mrs. Goldman. And what did Ollie think? He really liked it. Mostly he really liked, there was a dog in here and the dog was wearing a sweater and it looked like a dinosaur. So that was his favorite part, was the dinosaur sweater that the dog wore. The next book is The Truly Terrible, Horrible Sweater That Grandma Knit. It's by Debbie Maycomer and Mary Lou Carney. This is the one that made me cry. I posted about this on my Instagram stories that one of these books just really got me, and it was this one. There are a lot of themes in this book that aren't necessarily described, and so it really makes you think about like your own story. Talks about like maybe a long distance family member or wanting a child and it just taking a really long time. So it was just very like heartwarming, but also a little bit heart-wrenching. It's a story about Cameron and his grandma, and they love each other very much, even though they don't necessarily live close to each other. Cameron knows his grandma loves him and knows him super well, and so when she sends a birthday gift, he's really excited about it. So he goes to open it first thing on his birthday, but it's a cardigan and he does not love it. It's all these different colors and he doesn't understand why his grandma made him such a ugly sweater. As he describes, truly terrible, horrible sweater that he will never ever wear. So as the story goes on, he tries to get rid of the sweater, but it keeps coming back to him. Eventually his grandma visits, he wears it, and she tells him all about the meaning that is in the sweater and why she knit it for him. That's the part where I started crying, because throughout the book I was like, I don't love how negative he is about the sweater. It was a gift and it's really not that bad. Like, I thought it was cute. Anyway, that's unrelated. And then she tells him why she makes it and all the love she put into it and what each color means to her and to him. So yes, you can imagine how sweet and special that would be. Knitter content wise, I felt like this book would resonate with a lot of you guys and a lot of maybe people who knit for little ones, because it talks about the love that goes into the things that we make. There's one part where the grandma says, "And you're always close to my heart, even when we're far apart." That is like the goal of when I knit for my son. That is what I think about each time, that he would know that he is close to my heart, even when he's not with me. And so, and for a long time, right? For years to come. Whew. And I know that that is the same for many of you, that you knit for the little ones you love so that they will know you love them and they're in your heart and you can be in their heart as well, even if you're not physically close to each other. Anyway, wow. So yeah, this was a good one. My son kept asking why he didn't like the sweater and why he wouldn't wear it. So I do think it might be harder for littler kids to understand because it does go on for a while. This is the longest of the books. And so, yeah, he had a little bit of a hard time understanding, but at the end he understood that the little boy, well, spoiler, the little boy really liked the sweater and wore it. At the end, the bonus content, it includes a pattern for the cardigan if you'd like to make it. And then it also includes a little bit of how to knit. So very sweet. And I think that would be a good companion for if you send a little one, a gift knit, or a garment or something, and that would just be like a good thing to add to your gift. Okay, back to the lighthearted ones. This is Extra Yarn by Mac Barnett. This one we actually already had in our collection. This is a whimsical story of a little girl who likes to knit in her dreary little town. And as she continues to knit, the town becomes less dreary. So she never runs out of yarn and she always has extra yarn. And little by little, the town becomes brighter. But one day an Archduke comes and he offers to buy her yarn. So when she refuses, well, I will not spoil it for you, but it's about generosity and kindness overcoming kind of like the evil, bad things in the world. It's more of a fairy tale, sort of whimsical story, but the knitting content is beautiful because all of the illustrations are in this little knit stitch. So very colorful and bright, and yeah, look at these little animals. Very cute. Let's see, there's not any extra knitting content, but my son Ollie really likes this book. He thinks it's funny to see all the animals wearing sweaters, and he also thinks the Archduke is funny. We kind of make him have a silly voice, so he's not scary or anything. Okay, the last one I have is Cat Knit, and this is the funniest, silliest, most lighthearted, easy to read book out of all of them. Cat and Yarn are best friends, and they love to play together until one day Yarn changes. Girl, who owns Cat, takes Yarn and makes him into something else. At first, Cat is really not sure what to think about Yarn changing. In the end, Cat learns to love Yarn in his new form and gets lots more new friends named Yarn. So the first thing that knitters will like about this book is that girl gets the yarn on sale. We love that. And it's also, the knitting itself is cute because there's yarn all over the book, and I know a lot of knitters have cats, and so that can probably, I don't know, be a fun connection. But yeah, this is very easy to introduce to your child if they're not sure about your knitting. It's funny, it's silly. My son thought it was funny. He liked the cat. The cat makes a lot of funny faces. The words are easy to understand and fun. It also had a really nice lesson about change and how some things change, and once you give them time, you can learn to love them. So I'm always appreciative of a lesson in the story. So those are the 5 books that I checked out this time. If you want some more book recommendations to get your child into your hobby, or just to, I don't know, have fun, I would love to go to the library again and look at picture books with my son. That would be super fun. Don't forget, if you want to purchase any of them, we'll first look at your library, then come back and use my affiliate link to buy them for your library at home or for your little one who may not be close by. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely weekend and happy knitting.